Okay, welcome back to part 2 of ECO 501, section number 1, week 2 discussion class. Okay, before we took the break, we looked at the 4 or 5 concepts that we wanted to discuss in detail. We've done that. At the end of today's discussion, we can go back if anybody has questions. And now is basically summing up today's discussion class. And these are very small topics. That's why I named them others. This thing is not related to our topic today. It's related to the course. When we look at a market, we look at two sides. We have households and we have farms. Now the question is, how do we define a household? Is a household a buyer or a seller? How do we define a farm? Is a farm a buyer or a seller? The three markets that you see here, the table has been taken from Stiglitz, figure 1.5 on page 15. There's three types of markets. The top one, you see one flow. The good is moving from farms to the households. In the second one, you see the opposite flow. The good is moving from households to the farms. In the third one, you see a two-way flow. So these are the three types of markets. Now the question is which one we will be looking at. The product market, let me stop share. I hate looking at a file all the time. A product market is where a finished good is transacted. That means in a product market, farms are always sellers, households are always buyers. So the finished product moves from the farm, they sell it, and they come to the market transaction, and the households buy. The second market that we saw is known as labor market or factor market, where inputs are transacted. Now, households can be buyers, but all households, or mostly, at least 90% of them, everybody has to do a job or work. So what do we do as households? We make a decision how many hours of labor we will supply on the labor market. Who's going to buy our labor? A farm will buy our labor. For example, Brack University is now buying my labor. It's taking it as an input and providing a service. Okay. Similarly, many of us in the class, we are also working people. We're working somewhere. So this is the labor market where we have the opposite flow. Now the one on the bottom is the capital market. Capital market is a very interesting market. Households sell their savings. For example, you have 50 lakh taka wealth. You're not going to keep all the money in the house, are you? Will you
No,
keep?
sir.
Never. You're going to keep, say, 50,000 or 1 lakh in the house, and the remaining part money, what do? You sell it to the bank. That means the bank buys your savings, your excess savings. The bank is the buyer. You're the seller as a household. And then the question is it a commercial bank? Is it an Islamic financing? That doesn't matter. The bank is giving you some kind of return. Sometimes they call it interest. Sometimes they call it profit sharing. Whatever it is, the farm is the buyer. In the capital market, the reverse is also happening. The farms also sell their excess capital to households, which households buy as a loan on whatever terms and conditions. So when we're looking at the capital market, we see a two-way flow. The banks or the financial institutions, in this case, can be buyers when they take the savings of households. They can also be sellers at the same time when they provide that savings or back to the households. In the factor market, households sell an input, which is usually labor. Farms are the buyers. And in a product market, farms are the sellers, households are the buyers. So what we are going to do, we are going to exclusively, throughout this whole course, define the farm as the seller and the household as the buyer. Okay. This thing, I think we have already discussed. So some of you have already raised a question, whether this is going to be a microeconomics or macroeconomics. We have already discussed in the previous part that we are defining economics as a science of decision making. So basically, this is going to be applied microeconomics. Why did the name? Why was the name managerial economics? This course started out under the title Managerial Economics in the late 40s, early 50s in the business schools of the United States. And then the name stuck. So in Bangladesh, if you look at all the business schools, the course is called Managerial Economics. It's basically applied micro. But since the name stuck over history, so people didn't bother to change the name. Macroeconomics is when we discuss the economy. We discuss unemployment, we discuss GDP, we discuss inflation, etc. We are not interested in that type of economics. Now, this we will be discussing in more detail in the next week. That is there anybody in this class who has not done a statistics course at high school, college, or university? No statistics course at all. Is there anybody in this?
Me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No statistics at all. Who said yes?
Me, sir.
Achha, what's your
Me,
name?
sir.
Achha, what is your background? What type of undergrad did you do before coming here?
Sir, BSc.
BSc. Okay, BSc. You didn't do any kind of statistics course.
No, sir.
Interesting. The other gentleman, what was your background before coming here?
From English, Media and Cultural Studies.
Media Cultural Studies. Okay. Now the two people who said, one person said that she did a BSc. I think this gentleman's name is Mahir. Mahir said that he did a media culture study. Have you done any kind of hypothesis testing? The two of you, Rifat and Mahir, have you come across the concept of hypothesis testing?
Even if I had, I can't recall right now.
Oh, you can't recall. Okay, no problem. Now, so the two of you, apart from the two of you, everybody has done some basic statistics course. In a statistics course, we have done hypothesis testing. Now, before, let me tell you the technical part of the hypothesis testing. You fix a null hypothesis, and then you compare it with an alternative hypothesis, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then what do we try to do? We try to make sure we don't have a type 1 error, type 2 error, right?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Then our final conclusion method is what? We either accept the hypothesis or we don't accept it, right? We don't do anything outside that. Basically, hypothesis testing is a technical term, but what it actually does is it makes a statement about the population. It just makes a statement. This is the null hypothesis. That this statement, statistics does through a rigorous method. This statement we can also do verbally. Like, for example, I just make a statement. If the price increases, ceteris paribus, we will discuss later next week, people tend to buy less. Is this logical, this statement, the verbal statement? If the price increases, people tend to buy less?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, this is, in statistics term, this is our null hypothesis. If the price of something increases, people tend to buy less. But when it's a festival time, especially during Ramzan, what do we see? The price is increasing, but what happens to the households? Do they stop buying?
No.
Sir, they
carry on buying. So when we confront a situation like this, we will not accept this null hypothesis, will we? Will we accept it?
So depends.
Depends. That's what I'm saying. We are just making a statement about the population, that if the price of something increases, people tend to buy less. Okay. Then we see whether this statement is correct or not, or we try to establish when it is correct. This is what hypothesis testing will be in our course. It's not going to be null hypothesis. We just make a statement. Now, this verbal statement, we can present it with a graph. This verbal statement, we can present it with a table. We can present it with equations. we can also present it with statistical analysis. How we present it is immaterial. The thing is, we just made a statement, then we are going to try to analyze the matter. Now, this is something that I need to discuss in detail, that the course will focus on graphical presentation of theories more than other methods. Why? In the last semester, I had a challenging experience. I was trying to do some mathematical parts, the things, a presentation of some theories. Then I found out that some people, even if they were making an effort, it was difficult for me to communicate online. Isn't it difficult to teach mathematics online?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's
Yes.
not impossible. It's not impossible. If both parties make an effort, they will definitely be able to learn and teach or learn whatever. But the thing is, it's very challenging, and that's my experience that I had last semester. There were some people, they were making an effort to learn, okay, but you really can't teach mathematics like this, okay. So what I decided this semester, my videos will also change. So you have access to my previous semester videos in the YouTube channel, but main thing will be a graphical presentation of all our theories. This is the modeling that we will try to do, but that we will use mathematics, but only as much as is necessary, number one. And our objective will be to understand the philosophy of a particular concept. Now, suppose we think about a sunset, okay, wonderful sunset down a river. Now, if I'm a photographer, I can take a still photo. If I'm a videographer, I can take a video of it. If I'm a painter, I can draw the picture. If I'm a poet, I can write a poem. If I'm a musician, I can do a song about this sunset, right?
Yes,
Right, sir.
Yes.
So there are thousands of ways of presenting this sunset. It doesn't have to be mathematics, but if I can do a good presentation with graphs, I will be able to convey what the actual philosophical matter of the concept is. So our objective will, since this is an applied branch of economics, not theoretical, we will try to focus on graphs, but we will try to understand the philosophy of everything. Got it?
Got it, sir.
Okay. So because our objective is to learn. Acha, this is what this is a very oops. There's two types of economic analysis in decision making. One is positive economics, one is normative economics. Has anybody followed the at the moment, this is the month of June. Have you followed the budget debate? Is there anybody here who is following the budget debate? The budget that the government presents in the month of June?
No, sir.
Nobody is following the budget.
স্বাস্থ্য খাতে একটু কম বাজেট দেওয়া হয়েছে এতটুকু শুনছি খালি এ নিয়ে একজনকে
Okay, you heard it, that the allocation in the health sector was low, right? This is what
Right,
you
sir.
heard.
So,
Okay.
so we have heard bits and pieces, but we, at least me, I did not follow it completely.
Okay, no. If you look at you are very intelligent people. As an economist, I never follow the budget. Anyhow, why I don't follow my fellow economists in my profession, they get very angry with me. The thing is, now let us look. When we talk about a budget, one person said that the government allocated less funds to the health sector. So the person who believes that the government allocated less funds to the health sector, he will be asking the question, shouldn't the government allocate more funds? Isn't this the way that that person will address this question?
Yes, sir.
Acha.
Sorry, sir, I did not understand the last phrase.
Okay. One person said that the only thing that he heard about the budget was that the government has allocated less funds for the health sector. Okay. Now,
Yes.
when we use the word less, it's a relative matter. What do you mean by less?
Oh, yes, of course.
Less means what? A 50 million, below $50 million is less. Below $500 million is less.
I
Below
think so. The way it is reported, I think less than previous year.
less than previous year. Okay. So even if it is for less than previous year, once we confront a topic which is neither black nor white, we are talking about the gray shade in between, right?
Yes, sir.
When we talk about gray shades, anything can go. Then the question is should and could. This is the way we frame a question. When we frame a question, should the government do it? Could the government do it? The government should be doing it. When we make statements like this, these are known as value judgment statements.
Yes, sir.
Okay, these are known as normative statements. When we look at decision making, we look at an absolute phenomenon. Right now, if we take the body temperature of everybody in our class, is it going to be 96.4 degrees Fahrenheit?
So it will vary.
It will vary, but will it ever be 96.4 for everybody?
No, sir.
Never.
No, sir.
That's humanly impossible in a class. But if we see that the body temperature is say 99, 100, then what do? We automatically come to a well-established conclusion. The body temperature of this person is 100 degrees, or the blood pressure is way beyond 120/80. The patient should go and consult the doctor. Don't we come to this conclusion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because the result that we got after taking the body temperature or the blood pressure, that result is well established. But when we enter the debate that the government should allocate more funds for health, the government should not have done this, do we come to a conclusive decision accepted by all?
No, sir. It's open to debate.
It's open to debate. We are not interested in that branch of economics. This is known as normative economics. We are interested in positive economics, but positive economics with some kind of ethics and morals. Like we will be obsessed with efficiency in a market because transactions are voluntary, transactions are mutually beneficial. So the sum total must increase the total output. But if the distribution is unfair to the society, then the government should enter. This is a well-established practice throughout the whole world. In the pandemic time, we are seeing this more, that a country like Bangladesh that isn't that rich, isn't Bangladesh giving the vaccine to everybody for free?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
India has a larger population than Bangladesh. Isn't the Indian government or Indian state also giving the vaccine free to their citizens?
No.
They're not?
They are giving.
They are giving it free.
Yes.
Okay.
If you go to Pakistan, you go to Sri Lanka, you go to Nepal, all the countries of South Asia and all Afghanistan and Maldives, you will see that this vaccine is being given free by all the countries, whether they are rich or poor. Why? There is a value judgment, some basic moral codes of ethics that the society is responsible for this vaccine. Since it is available, the state will give.
I think it is more like the benefits outweigh the costs.
Benefit after now, that is a mathematical calculation.
I believe policymakers made those calculations and then decided to give it.
The policymakers.
I don't think it was out of their goodness of their heart.
No, maybe
this is my personal opinion.
Okay, but the thing is, every society has a moral, established set of conducts that the state should be responsible for these particular services.
Yes.
A rich state is responsible more, a poor state is responsible less. But there are some basic services that every state in every country is providing. Maybe a little bit, it could have been better, this and that, but there's a established. So what we are going to do, we are going to be focusing on positive economics. What happens? What doesn't happen? Why does it happen? Why doesn't it happen? We will just be answering simple questions like this. The moment we ask the question like, Should this happen? Should this not happen? Then we enter the debate of it could be, it may not be. This is the analysis of economics as a pure science. Okay. And the final thing of this part is very simple. I've sent it to you. Stiglitz chapter 1, page number 1 to 22. And also please look at the pre-recorded lectures. Pre-recorded lectures this semester are going to be different from the previous semester. Since my experience there was a little bit different. And please try to attend the discussion class. Okay. Wait, where are we? Oh, you're not seeing this slide, are you?
No, sir.
Oh, acha, I didn't share it. Sorry. Okay, so this is the reference of this week. And advices, please see the pre-recorded video lectures which I upload on Saturday or Friday night, whatever. And because they will be different from the last semester, because of my experience with last semester, as I said, and try to attend the discussion class. Even if you don't ask questions, try to attend. Okay, so because I can't force you to attend, because we've done everything on a gentleman's handshake, you try to attend as much as you can. But even if you can't, for valid reasons, I will be sharing the lecture in my BRAC University YouTube channel. So we come to the end of today's this week's discussion. Now somebody wanted to ask a question. I can answer the question now. There was somebody who had a question written on a piece of paper.
Yes, sir. Sir, basically, in previous slide that was written that goods are driven out, good quality goods are driven out of market when it is asymmetric. Sir, একটু প্রসেসটা যদি বলতেন যে কিভাবে actually driven out হচ্ছে যদি asymmetric হয় আর কি.
Okay, we'll be covering this very much in detail later on, but since you've asked, where is it? Information, na? Oh, can you see?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now just see what happens. Asymmetric information means either buyers know more than the sellers or the sellers know more than the buyers about the actual quality of the product. So in a used car market or any used product market, the seller knows more about the quality than the buyers. Do we agree on this?
Yes, sir. That means it's a second-hand market. It's not a primary market.
No, it's not a primary market. It's a second-hand market. Okay.
Second-hand market. Okay.
So and now I'm entering that market as a buyer. Okay. I see that two people are selling two types of goods. As a buyer, I can't distinguish whether this is a good product or a bad product, right? As a buyer, can I distinguish it in a second-hand car market? Can I tell with credibility?
No.
There's no acha, but I have this information that 50% of the cars are good quality, 50% of the cars are bad quality. Okay, if I have this information, I know that the good quality cars are say 10 lakh taka, the bad quality cars are say 5 lakh taka, since this is a used car market. If I cannot credibly distinguish that this is a good quality second hand, this is a bad quality second hand, what will I do? If I know that 50% of them are good quality second hand, 50% of them are bad quality second hand, won't I calculate an average price to offer?
Yes, sir. In fact, we'll start offering a lower price for good quality cars.
Yeah. So what I'll do, the good quality second-hand cars are 50% of the market. They're 10 lakh. The bad quality second-hand cars are 5 lakh. They're also 50%. So the two of them are 15 lakh. So I'll offer 7.5 lakh taka, right? Won't
right.
Okay. If I offer 7.5 lakh taka to the market, what will happen? People who have the good quality car that will sell good quality second-hand car, which will sell at 10 lakh taka, will they have an incentive to sell?
Oh yeah, I got it, sir.
So what will happen? The average price will always be higher than the bad quality car.
Yes.
So what will happen? Slowly, if this situation keeps on persisting, then the good quality second-hand cars will be driven out of the market. That means their sellers will have no incentive to sell. Now do you get the logic?
Yes, yes, sir, definitely.
Okay,
thank
good.
you, sir.
If you understood the logic later on, when we get into the more details, whether it doesn't matter how we present it, okay, then we will see how we can address these problems. Okay.
So this similar phenomenon is seen in capital market as well.
Okay, great. Can you give an example?
Like in countries where there is no asymmetry of information between companies and investors, they have more public participation. Like in the US, even though people lose money, they have more participation. But in a country like Bangladesh, where there is huge asymmetry of information, like even with huge gains, investors are reluctant to invest in capital market. Only a few handful of people participate.
Definitely. Who are the handful of people who have inside information?
Yes, sir. Like really huge capitalists. Like,
yeah, right. Correct.
They don't want to.
So so this lemons market you can apply in various contexts, and this is what we are going to try to look at in the course. Okay. Why does this market problem arise? In spite of that, how is this how are used car markets still sustaining? What are the conditions behind that? Okay. Okay. Any other questions by anybody? Any other questions by anybody? I think nobody has any questions, right? So that indicates two extreme things. Either you've understood everything, I shouldn't have taken the class today, or you've understood simply nothing.
So it's probably the latter.
Huh? It's probably?
No, sir, I was just joking. So I think everybody understood the concept.
Okay. So basically, this class was class number 1, because last semester what happened, I took a proper class on week 1, and then I realized that some people register 1 week later, or some people had connectivity problem, etc. That's why we formally started the course in week 2. I'll upload these lectures later. I've already uploaded the slides. So if you check the Facebook group, and so if you have any kind of question after this today even, ask me in the Facebook group. I'll answer accordingly. Okay.
Yes. Sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
And
thank you, sir.
so we so stop the lecture here, and after 2 weeks we'll start the class at 7 o'clock, when the day becomes a little bit shorter, since the Maghrib is around 7. That's we started at 7:10, but after 2 weeks hopefully we'll start at 7 o'clock. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then everybody stay well.
Okay, sir. This admin group, Facebook group.
Sorry.
The admin Facebook group. I've unlocked it.
Sorry, what's your name?
Arif Razak Grubo.
Huh?
Arif Razak Grubo.
I've already responded to you. Check your messenger.
Oh, messenger.
Yes, check your messenger. Your Facebook account is locked. Am I correct?
Yes.
And your Facebook account doesn't have any information about you, does it?
Yes.
So that's why I asked you a question. You answer that question, I'll add you.
Sir, even I have not got any invitation to join Facebook group.
What's your name?
Sir, AKM Fazlur Rahman on Facebook.
And I didn't receive any request by this name.
Oh, okay, sir. I'll send you a request. I missed the last class.
Okay, so you send a request now with your and give me your details in the messenger inbox, your name and ID number. Okay, and the section, and then I'll just add you. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, then everybody stay well. Bye bye.
Bye, sir. Good night, sir.